way to beat that. Roaches leads with the Robertson.
It's coming home. It's coming home, Ben. Hey Miller, the curse is finally over. The curse is finally over. Remember, guys, we wrote the rules of the game. We wrote the rules back in, what was it, 150 years ago. We wrote the rules. This win is largely due to the support of you guys. Hey guys, we're back again. Russell Robertson live.
Robertson! Out of nowhere! Robertson! Out of nowhere! Robertson!
I mean, I love that intro, but I also hate it. Thank you, Davo, for putting that together in all the spare time that you have. Welcome to Robbo Live. To those of you who are watching live and to those that are listening later on the podcast, of which is going quite well, Davo. Lots of people tuning in.
Lots of people tuning in.
It's good because we, as much as we are just a small little time outfit here that was born of the Melbourne finals a couple of years ago in lockdown, and we really enjoyed it. And this is for us, you and I, really, to do it. Something that we love to bring to our Melbourne supporters. It's going quite. We're getting these guests on with amazing stories, and I gauge my stories by Davo, people, because Davo. I mean, I've been in the system for a long time. I've played football for a long time, so I know these stories and I live them or whatever, and they're not a huge surprise to me. But I see Davo salivating about what Glenn Archer says and what Bluey McKenna says and all the guys that we've had on, and tonight it just keeps getting better.
Because I'm just your average Joe with an average job. I'm your average white suburbanised slob. I like football, and that's where I'll leave it. But you're right. I love those stories because, I mean, everyone, that's the thing. The current players today, they can't tell these stories.
They can't.
And we go back to some of the stories you were hearing from the players and the mischief they got up to off the field, and that's what we want to hear. That's why these documentaries like the Matildas and the Formula One document, all these ones, that's why everyone loves it. So we want more of that.
Absolutely. Now, it's a big night, Davo. It's a big night for Melbourne supporters. It's a big night for the match review panel. It's a big night for the AFL in general. It's not such a big night for Gold Coast because I don't think they really care. They've done nothing to help us. Dewey did. Dewey's great. Dewey understands the process. We'll get into that a little bit later. But Louise Hughes, hello to you. She's switching from the Twitter feed to the Jacob Van Ruin trial. It's kind of like
is that on now?
It's become like O.J. Simpson, the juice.
But he's not on the run.
Can I see it? You can see it now. They're in the room right now, and they're producing a glove that he was wearing. See, it doesn't even fit him. And he's driving a Bronco home from the Gold Coast to get out of there. A white Bronco. Free Van Ruin. Free Van Ruin. Thanks, Chris. That's true. Yes, I know. And there's an updated thing going on in the AFL, and even the Melbourne app at the moment. It says 23 minutes ago, so-and-so is... if you want to have a look and keep up to date with what's going on, you can see on these apps. 23 minutes ago, what do you call it? Who's the opposition? I'm not up with the wording or what goes down, but they're presenting their evidence to. I've obviously got my view. You've got your view, and I'm with the status quo here, Dave. And I know you are too, mate.
He's getting off.
It's awful, isn't it? It's
just absolutely ridiculous.
It's awful. I think that's the word this week. It's everywhere, guys. It's everywhere you go. They're talking about Jacob Van Ruin, and it's not right for a young kid who was doing what he thought, and I'm with him. He did everything right. To hell with what the Gold Coast player said. I thought that was poor form by him, and I made my feelings known on Facebook, and you would have read that. Poor form. You look after your opposition teammates to the absolute nth degree, and he's come out and said, he got it wrong. He got what he deserved. What? Am I in crazy town? Do you do that?
This is absolute bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. But that's attention seeking, surely. Because you know what I mean? Like someone's probably gone, I have an alternate opinion, but we're all of the opinion. What else is he supposed to do? Like, really, are we going to play keep you off? That's what the game's going to come down to. Don't touch each other.
Let's go right back to it right now. Let's have a look at it together, guys, and go through some other stuff. Because we'll place it first by watching Jacob go with the ball. Now, a young man, big, strong, he needs to go with the ball, and he does. Every contest he goes for, he goes at it. So, look, he's not looking at the ball, obviously, because he's running back full tilt. I understand the match review panel's, their statement that he wasn't looking at the ball, and that's really gone against him here. He's gone to hit the hands and has obviously copped him in the head, which we've seen him. But then at the last minute,
doesn't even look like he hit him in the head.
No, he's not trying to hit him in the head. You can tell by that last shot last one you just showed there, that last bit. He's coming in, right, I'm going to try to get the hands here, and with the momentum that he's got, but this happens in sport. This happens. Now, a little bit of a sore neck, just a little bit of a sore neck you've got there, a little bit of a click. You're getting up, you're playing the rest of the game, and you're playing next week. Now, this is the one here when you get a little bit closer look at this. And we will talk about Charles. This one here, see, you can see he's not looking at the head, he's trying to hit the head.
Yeah.
We've seen that before. That's not what he's doing. Barry Laurie says Charles hit on Bowie's throat. Exactly. And there are examples of other situations.
Crap loads.
Even over the last week.
Do you want to see? Do you want to see a couple?
Yeah, I'd like to see some. Let's compare.
Have a look at this Collingwood Adelaide one, right? And tell me this guy didn't get suspended.
Not even a free kick.
Wasn't even a free kick.
Not looking at the ball. He was looking at the ball. The
umpire's called play on.
See, he's come back looking at the ball, and that's the difference. But he takes his eye off at the last second. See, it's taken off.
But it's basically, it's not that dissimilar. Like, he didn't deliberately smack him in the head. He didn't even probably see that the guy was there.
Broken nose.
And then if you want to have a lot of fun,
it wasn't the
you had...
Look at the background, guys. So right up the top right. Bang.
And then an elbow.
Bang. An elbow to the face. Kind of reminds me a little bit of what happened to Brayshaw over in the West with Shuey.
Yeah.
Which was extreme, different. It reminds me a little bit in that it was, I'm trying to hit you, okay? Yeah. Whether I want to hurt you or maim you or get you high, okay, yes.
You mean gaff, that one?
Sorry, gaff, not Shuey.
That one wasn't good.
That was not good. Terrible. That's why I sort of, the cover note is saying it's not exactly that. But he was hitting to hit.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is an instinctive move at the football, and this is what I settle on, and the reason why I'm up in arms about it. I know that my instinct was to go for the ball and go for the ball in whatever means possible. Whether I had to take my eyes off the ball, whether I hurt someone in the process, and usually it was my own teammates. I knocked out, I said on Facebook this week, I knocked out Dale Kickett against Fremantle at, as it was, it's Marvel now, but back at that stadium as it was called, Etihad, with my hip as I jumped over him. Now,
did he miss any games?
I've hurt him. He's missed games.
Did you get suspended for this?
I got nothing. I got clapped. I got Robbo because there was a stop in play and there was a point and I had to wait in the zone. And the Melbourne, my amazing demon army were chanting my name. It was one of those surreal moments in my life. But they'd go down. Let's not talk about me. Let's not make it about me.
Okay.
Let's not make the Robbo show about me. Okay? I don't want that.
You know what? I think helmets are coming.
Do you think? Mm-hmm. Because so you're saying that the reason why they've given Jacob Van Ruin two weeks and making a what do they call it, an example of this guy.
Yeah,
such an example. There's a better word.
Yeah, I didn't want to finish your sentence, but
you can if you want.
No.
But they've made such an example of this guy because there are issues coming down the pipe.
Like I said, every time someone gets hurt, we then have to go, well, he got hurt, so therefore you have to go to the corner now.
Yeah.
You've been bad. And you're like, but I didn't mean to. It doesn't matter whether you meant it or not.
Yeah.
You did it and you shouldn't have done it. And you go, did what? What did I do wrong? Again, sorry, I ran and punched the ball.
I did what the coach told me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to.
Here's one for you. If he was a defender and that was a forward, would it be the same punishment?
Probably not.
I don't know. Be.
Look, okay, all right. 2 weeks going by your system that you've got now. Match review panel.
It's a shit show. It's going to end up bad.
It's a shit system.
It's going to end up bad because there's going to now be other examples that are coming out We've just shown one from 2 weeks ago. It's going to happen it's like the AFL does this all the time. They make a judgment call on something and then they go, crap, now we have to upheat. Like, we got to keep that. It's like, every time you watch the Friday night game, you go, oh, they must be red hot on in the back this weekend. Yeah. And then everything is in the back. Yeah. And so you're like, oh, okay. And then, well, maybe we got it wrong. We'll back off again. It's just like, your clip at the start, we wrote the rules of the game.
We didn't write that rule.
No, maybe we should go back to write the rules of the game and not stop letting the AFL write the rules and ruining it.
How many clip over the years did you get, Steve Edward asked? And I did, mate. And that was, you'd expect it, okay? So this is the next point I want to make. 2 to 3 every week, yeah. You'd cop one. Like, I remember playing against blokes like, Danny Southern. I played on him. I played on, Bulldogs. You'd always cop one. I played on Martin Pike. I played on, the guys that just made you.
John Worsfold, Glenn Archer.
Johnny Worsfold, my first game. So what they would do is they knew they were beaten because we are getting kicked to. As forwards, we're getting kicked to. So I'm out here with the ball and he's way back there, but you'll get a fist right. When you get smacked in the ear really hard?
Yeah.
It hurts. And they know that. And they did that. Pinchy, punchy, all that stuff back in the day. I blame Gary Lyon for the suspension on Jacob. Played his first game. Gary said he reminded him of Dermot Brett. It would have took him only 6 games to get suspended. Peter Johns, well played.
That's good.
Well, we've gone a long way with it. And well done to Brad Green and the board and the guys down there for really pushing this, because they've read the play here and they've listened to the people, and it's not just the Melbourne people. We want to revolt. We're almost, Brad Green here, we find that a reasonable player would have seen that in spoiling the way he did would almost inevitably have resulted in a forceful blow to Ballard's head. Now, that comes from Gleeson. Gleeson, obviously...
It is from the tribunal.
From the tribunal, as we know.
Man.
What does this mean? Question mark from Brad Green.
Yeah.
So...
Unreasonable?
So are they asking whether... They're accusing Jacob Van Ruin of not being a reasonable person.
He's not. He can't be reasonable.
He's an unreasonable human.
No, get it right. Reasonable player.
Oh, reasonable player. But
Didn't say human, said reasonable player, which makes him an unreasonable player, potentially.
Jacob Van Ruin, the unreasonable footballer.
Yeah. Take no reason. And he's like, I'm sorry, but you don't get to the AFL unless you're reasonable? Isn't that like
the new nickname for Jacob Van Ruin? The reason.
The reason.
Americans have great, Gary Payton was the glove,
Yeah.
Jacob Van Ruin's the
reason. Rue the reason.
What are Melbourne supporters going to do about it, Dave?
I think they're going to march.
We're going to hit the streets.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Let's go.
Unroostable.
And look, I think... I was doing some research. How do we march? Because we haven't marched. I don't know if we've marched.
Melbourne supporters haven't marched.
Port Adelaide, they know how to march.
Yeah.
Have a look at this. This is proper. Just got out of jail. Happy to be out on the streets.
Oh, look at that heaving
We're
mass.
just gonna give it to them.
We're not gonna take it.
Look at them. Get in there. You know what I mean? That's an unruly bunch. You know where I'm going with this, don't you?
I think I do.
Here comes the D's march. Okay, everyone.
Oh, you can't.
Single file. Be careful on the way down the stairs.
This is my show. You can't do this.
There's a Collingwood supporter in the middle here somewhere, which actually quite fun. Little kid there,
that was
adopted.
A Queen's birthday game back.
And there's a unruly grandma.
Look at the feral Melbourne.
Just animals.
Animals climbing over each other, making a stand.
Look at that grandma there. She is unruly.
She looks like
she's got booze in her pocket. I know it. She is out of control. So it's not a long history of
well played, Dave. That was good. I like that.
Yeah. Well, look, I like the D supporters. You know that.
Well, you know what we should do? We give up. We're gonna give up. We should say we're giving up avocados. We're going to destroy the avocado industry.
Decimate the avocado industry.
We're going to give up wine. That's a big stretch for a Melbourne supporter.
That's like...
We are not going to drink red wine, especially Burgundy. Especially Burgundy.
No more Pinot from the Mornington Peninsula. That's it, honey. We're having a block on all Peninsula and Yarra Valley wines. I actually predicted this, and I went and I had a look at the headlines for tomorrow when the Demon supporters stop. They'll threaten the livelihood
Look at the family.
Farmers begging the AFL to resolve this standoff.
Free Van Ruin so we could.
Free Van Ruin.
Our industry has
Don't
been-
let the farmers suffer. Port. More port. You
that's
did get
gold.
it. You got given a port, didn't you?
That is
That is a
gold.
port. Is this a port?
No, that's a sherry. Thank you to the.
Oh.
And can I say that?
We transitioned. So that's my jokes. I'm done. I'll be off in a minute.
Good. That was great.
Um,
The Non-Such Brewery down in Tasmania have sent us a few bottles over the last 2 or 3 years, and another shout out to the great distilleries down there and distillers. What would you call them? They put some
like makers of pleasure.
makers of pleasure. That's what they are at Non-Such. That's a sherry. Jeez, that'll get your motor running. If you have
It's
swig
not a
of that.
sherry. It's a single malt whiskey matured in a sherry case.
It's an ex-sherry.
Yeah, so
It says
so
ex-sherry on it.
So they've made a whiskey in the
I love it.
in the vat or in the barrel that would have had sherry in it previously. So it will have sherry undertones, which is what the Jamaicans do with rum.
Right.
They do it because they get their rum barrels like third in line.
And that's for another podcast. That's
yeah.
They're great down there at Non-Such. So do yourself a favour and to take a Molly Meldrunism and jump online and buy yourself some of the whiskey that they've got there, because that's what that's a number 24
Of 76.
of 76. Thank you. They sent me a number 24.
Weren't you number 24?
Well, that's why, mate. That's where I was going to with that. You know that I was number
sorry,
24.
shit.
Great game last week. The Demons, I don't know about great.
Oh.
Let's talk about it, because the Gold Coast Suns, and I want to get some of our wonderful people's thoughts on our game up on the coast. Got over the line in the end, but geez, I wasn't able to watch because I was emceeing some basketball down our way, the NBL1 stuff.
Thanks, Pam.
And
Pam's thanking me for my work.
yeah, he does. He preps.
I do a tiny bit of
I
prep.
helped him.
I like the jokes.
I didn't. Where was I? Yeah, emceeing the basketball, and I was checking in on the scores, and I couldn't understand why we weren't pulling further and further away from the Gold Coast Suns. They played quite well, Gold Coast last week. I'm not sure whether we played our best football. I'm interested to get people's views on last week. So chime in now, if you will, if you watched the game.
I was watching the coronation.
And there was that going on.
I wasn't
as well.
really. I was in a pub. I
You're
was
a
trying to
West,
watch it.
you're a West Coast supporter. You're watching anything but football at the moment.
Don't even know what. Oh no, we played Richmond, didn't we? It wasn't good.
Yeah. Look, what will happen when you play a good team? If
Don't talk about them. We don't need to talk about them. It's not the show for them.
West
as in
Coast.
Gold Coast Suns.
Yeah, the Gold Coast.
They're
Suns.
going all right.
When you play a bad team, well, not a bad team, because Gold Coast, they're in abouts. They tend to make a better team scrap. You know, they bring it back to their level, and that's what they try to do. Obviously, played it on our terms. We're not going to let you play on your terms. So, credit, as they say in all footballers, they learn that word very early in their media days. Credit
Where it's due.
where it's due to the Gold Coast Suns. They were able to stop our flow. Obviously, we love to run fast and go at the game. Our midfield stoppages, where we are known to be very, very good, and it wasn't, again, our best, and something we're going to have to fix. But look, every week throws up different propositions.
Browny was there, by the way. We've got him in the waiting room, but his video went off. So
So let's talk about Campbell Brown just for a second as our wonderful guest this week. We take on the Hawks this week. It's a big game. We tend to have good matches against Hawthorn. I know they've dropped off of late, and a new coach and new players. And I'm keen to get Brownie's
back on now.
Brownie's going to give his opinion on the Hawthorn Football Club at the moment, and not just the current status of their team, but where they're at as a club as a whole, and their coach. He played football with them. But also, you can touch on a little bit in the Gold Coast stuff, and I'm really keen to get his thoughts on where football's at the moment, in light of where we've sort of landed ourselves this week in terms of hardness at the footy. Because I know very well that in the early days of my career, or even my junior football, we were told to be a certain way, and I'm not sure they've been told that anymore.
No.
It's an unnatural thing to not be able to go as hard as this next man went.
Yes.
That's how you're supposed to play a hard man sport, and that's what this game is. It's
I just thought about it. You keep getting hard guys on. Like you've had
Glenn
Guy
Archer.
McKenna, Glenn Archer, and now Campbell Brown. What does that say? Is this like your way of going like, I'm just going to get all these people that, I mean, I used to jump around, but these guys were properly hard.
These guys were proper hard.
Yeah, proper hard. Not flighty, proper.
No, I was probably a little bit more flighty, wasn't I? But I do know that my early days of football in Tasmania, we learnt very early on that if you weren't going as hard as you possibly could and using your body as a battering ram, I suppose, as a tool for destruction into packs and making sure that you were not, that they knew you were there. That was how we did it, and I'm not sure that that's how it is anymore. So what are they teaching these young kids these days?
Dermy, Dipper, and Lethal next. Absolutely. Should we get him on? I can see him running around. I'm intrigued as to what he's doing, but
he's trying to find the best spot.
He's probably in the darkness at the moment.
Probably a quiet corner somewhere. Do
you want to let him in and then
he's got bad reception. He's logged in. I've got you, mate.
He looks okay with the reception. I can see technically how it would work. We can start it and see how we go.
Yeah.
And
we'll bring him in.
It's
a dark room at the moment that I can see. It's okay, Browny. We'll
Robbo.
How are you, mate? How you going? You're in a dark room.
Mate, I'm in Mildura on a houseboat.
Of course you are.
Do they have lights?
And it's well, they do, but I'm standing on the roof of the houseboat.
Absolutely, of course you are. You are one random man, Doggy Brown. There is no doubt about you. We can't see your face, but that's all right. We can hear your voice, and if you can find somewhere where there's a little bit of shot, there's a silhouette there. What are you doing up there? There we go. That's better.
I'm just up here for. There we go. Is that better, boys?
That's great. What are you doing up there,
visit Mildura, just up here for a couple of days, just sampling the local produce and just enjoying the Murray River.
Oh, mate, that's what I love about you, Doggy. You never stay in one place. You're not happy. You need to be moving. Yeah.
This is no good, boys.
That's all right, mate. We'll see how we go anyway. We'll just keep talking. There's better reception probably on the roof. This is great. Hey, Brownie. The match review at the moment is currently sitting in deciding on Jacob van Ruwen's fate for this week's game. I know you've probably kept a close eye, a look at it. One of your old clubs is involved. What were your thoughts initially on that hit, and since then, what have you decided? Is it the right thing or the wrong thing?
No, it's absolutely the wrong thing, Robbo. I watched it live on the Saturday night, and a really crucial moment in the game, and we want our big men to compete in the air.
Yeah.
Crash packs, bring the ball to ground. I thought he did that. There was no intent to cause injury. I know that in the tackle process now, there's a duty of care.
Yep.
But I don't think there is a duty of care in the marking process.
No, that's a great point you make. In the marking contest where the ball's in the air and things... I mean, when you're running with the flight of the ball, which you've seen so many brave footballers do in the past, you think you're doing the right thing and creating a contest. And Jacob van Ruwen, you know that he's a big centre-half forward type, and his football is to jump at the pill and create a contest, bring the ball to the front, all that sort of stuff that you've learned for a long time. And creating a contest, the issue for me is that he hasn't really caused too much damage to the opposition player, Charlie Ballard. And it seems to still have, given him a fairly hefty, penalty for a young man that is just making his way in the game. Yeah.
Well, things need to be stopped being judged on outcome.
Yeah.
and start being judged on action. And if it's a dangerous action, if it's intentional, then rub them out.
Yeah.
But this is still a contact sport, and just because a player gets concussed or injured doesn't necessarily mean that the player needs to be deserved to be rubbed out.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
So I think it's a shambles, to be honest with you, mate. I've said for a while now that the match review panel is completely out of whack with the AFL public and for the players and the coaches. And more often than not, we see clubs contest these and they get cleared at the tribunal or the appeals board. So how incompetent does that make the MRO?
Yeah, absolutely. And mate, we've got some of the Melbourne supporters and football supporters jumping on and leaving comments on the side here. So, Scott wants to know, have you got the Sky Racing going on in the background at the moment?
Do you know what, mate? Have a look. I don't know if you guys can see.
Yeah.
Of course I bloody do.
Of course he does. Mate, I'm going to get you up for some tips for Ladbrokes in a minute.
And I'll be jumping in the spa. I'm going to be jumping in the spa too, Robbo, very shortly.
Is that your boat, mate? Whose boat is this?
You're lucky I don't have the bathers on at the moment.
The budgies.
You're lucky I haven't done this out of the spa right now, mate.
You're dressed. I'm happy, mate. That's good. Hey, Doggo, how do you reckon you would have gone in today's game? Because I know you, mate. I played right next to you sometimes. Remember those Hawthorn days? You knew one way, and that was the old school way, which is you use your body to, signal your intent and get in there and you send a signal for your teammates by your hardness. How do you reckon you would go in today's game with this match review panel?
No, I don't think I'd be playing much footy, mate. I'd be absolute liability. When you don't have much skill, you had to find other ways to get a game each week, and certainly Clarko encouraged the way that I played.
Yeah.
Because he used to say to me, we don't want any of our good players getting suspended.
I love it. So you were one of those expendable assets that the Hawthorn Football Club kept on for that reason.
I think so, mate. Yeah, I think so.
Well, mate, let's talk about Clarko because he's in the news a little bit this week talking about his old club Hawthorn too. He's at North Melbourne where he first started his football journey. There's a bit going on there. You know Clarko, the man, intimately. How's he going at the moment?
Yeah, I do know him, and I know him as a really good man. He's a good family man.
Yep.
He would always do the absolute best for the players that were at the club and that he was coaching. So it's quite a delicate situation at the moment. But he has my absolute support, and I hope that all those accusations and things that have been said about him are found to be inaccurate, not correct, or taken out of context because he's a good man.
Yeah, I think we'll leave that one alone because there's a lot going on behind closed doors and information that he's not getting, and it's not worth commenting on. It's obviously frustrating, the great man, because I know him very well too. Obviously, he spent some time at Melbourne before he went to Hawthorn, and Chrissy Fagan, who was at Hawthorn for a long time, was right next to him, and they get along, and I get along well with him. And the stories that I get, this is just soul destroying with all this sort of stuff. So, we won't talk too much about that because it's really not anything we need to be talking about. But what I wanted to really get into with you is how do these young kids these days? Because I've got young kids, and I know how I teach them to play football, but I'm just not so sure anymore what I need to be doing because there's this real mentality that you need to be careful out on a football field, and it's just extraordinary to me. It's not a sentence that is attributed to AFL football or even NRL. You need to be careful with your actions out on the football field. It's bizarre, isn't it?
It's different, and I'll say this. We keep evolving as a sport and a community and all that sort of thing. So we were brought up in different eras, Robbo, where you didn't need to be careful. In fact, you're probably the opposite. You could get away with being a little bit reckless. So it's as simple as if your kids want to play the sport, they need to adapt to the new rules and the new mentalities. And I get it. Concussion's a massive thing, and it's only getting bigger. The lawsuit that's hanging over the AFL at the moment is, got the potential to bankrupt them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to play out there, and I think that they're overcorrected in a number of areas. And in the end of the day, it is just a sport, and you just want players to go out there and enjoy it, do their best, and come away from it at the end of it with a good experience and not being physically sort of hurt for the remainder of their life. So I get some of that now.
Yeah. So what I'd like to talk to you about now is a little bit about yourself and your own football career and your own journey. I know you've done a billion things since you finished your football career. Was that always on the cards for you, mate? Were you always keen to get out of AFL footy, which is, by and large, a magnifying glass? You live your life, everybody's staring at you and judging you and talking about you. Was it always a plan for you to go and try some different things? And talk to the people a little bit about what you've done since, like trying to swim the English Channel and all sorts of bizarre stuff.
It was never really a plan, Robbo, but it was more just I'm quite a goal-orientated person, and when you finish footy, it feels like a massive part of your life is over. Where's the next challenge coming from? And so I just threw myself into things like the English Channel swim and running a marathon, but I didn't want to just do the Melbourne Marathon. I thought I'd do one in Antarctica. Climb Kilimanjaro, and I'm currently training to climb a mountain in Argentina called Aconcagua.
Wow.
I think it's just one of those things that you get a bit addicted to adrenaline. I'm an adrenaline junkie, and I like having a goal. If I don't have these challenges in my life, I get a bit lazy.
Yeah.
And so it's just good to travel with your mates and try and achieve something great.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a little bit. It just delays a little bit towards the end there. With football, with you, mate, was it always, obviously you come from a football family, you got stock there, but was it always your plan? Was it always going to happen for you? You're going to play AFL football, or was it always just a bit of a battle? You had to work your ass off.
The plan was to always play AFL footy, but I just wasn't, an absolute standout junior. So I had some quite big deficiencies in my game, being my lack of size, and I wasn't ever a great decision maker or user with the footy.
Yep.
Which obviously are pretty important. So I had to work really hard, but ever since I was 9 or 10 years of age, all I wanted to do was play AFL footy, so I felt very fortunate. And I got the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely did, and you made the most of it too. You had a good career, premiership player, a lot of accolades along the way. What did you do? Tell me this, because I got a young boy who's small. He's got some skill, loves footy, but he's small, and he finds it hard to get picked in teams based on that. What did you do to get noticed?
Well, I think you need to be exceptional in one area, and whether that's Sam Mitchell was a clearance king, before he went on to be a superstar. That was his one wood. Mine was always going to have to be. I had to be relentless at the contest. Some people have the leg speed or whatever, but you do need something that makes you stand out, and then you need to work bloody hard.
Yeah.
And there's been plenty of really good players that got drafted and never gone on to make it because they rested on their laurels or thought it would just happen.
Yeah.
And the guys like Brad Sewell and some of those that came off rookie lists that were never drafted, were hungry, worked hard, and went on to have great careers.
Well, I agree with all of that, and I think that's absolutely brilliant. And a lot of people ask me what did I do to make it, and my dad was of the same opinion, so he worked on my hangers with me all day long. He thought, yeah, he's pretty good in the air, this kid. I might make him the best at it. So we worked long and hard at that in the front yard of my mum and dad's house growing up. And I don't think I ever sat on your head, Doggo. I'm not sure.
No, you did. You did.
Did I?
Robbo. MCG, yeah, MCG, and you took a mark on the goal line.
Yes,
right?
I did. Don't bring this up.
And then you went to play on and kick it.
And I stuffed
And
it.
Johnny Hay or someone scored the ball through from behind. Yeah, save me.
Do you know, I think my papers were marked after I did that. That's when I think that was the beginning of the end. I didn't last much longer. It's one of those things. And maybe I landed and concussed myself too much. So I thought, you know that thing though where you just sort of go, I don't want to go back and take the kick. I just want to take the easy option and just pop it through now. I stuffed that one up, mate. But toughest opponent for you, pal, before, we start, we'll just talk a quick little bit about Hawthorn now and this Melbourne game coming up. But your toughest opponent, I know you played when you played Melbourne. Sometimes you get Aaron Davey. Now there's an assignment, mate. Yeah, you got to keep up with the Flash.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what was harder than playing with Aaron Davey was that Byron Pickett wanted to kill me. And he's the only man on the field that I actually believed would actually do it.
That's true.
So I would always look around and see where's Choppy at a stoppage and say, okay, there he is.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn around and face him. And he never got to pick me off. But
Acker, yeah.
He was probably my toughest opponent. I've never played on a guy that hit packs at such pace, left or right foot, and just his timing was always sublime.
Yeah. Oh, he was good to watch, wasn't he? I have to go back to. I can't tell you it was a happy day when I found out Choppy Pickett was coming to Melbourne. I knew that I couldn't get hit anymore.
Mate, he was a dead set. He was a stone cold killer.
He knew how to do it. He knew where to get you. If you took your eyes off him, it's almost like he smelt it. He knew that you weren't looking at him, and that was him. Just like, right now, it's time to kill this guy. And he murdered blokes down the front. I think that actually killed his career, didn't it?
Oh, he did because they were trying to get the shit front out of the game, and he lit up Dean Brogan and a couple of guys one day. He was a great footballer. I loved him.
I think we forget a little bit about how talented he was actually, because we see those hits and we love it. Like, we love that.
Norm Smith medalist.
Oh, absolutely. How many times Premiership play? A couple of times. Norm Smith medalist. An absolute superstar. And when he was at Melbourne, and he's one of the best blokes you'll ever meet too. Old Choppy Pickett. I caught up with him in Adelaide at the Gather Round not long ago, and he's put on a couple of kilos, but still hasn't stopped him from being a great bloke. Hey mate, D's taking on Hawthorn this week. Hawthorn obviously not the team that they were 4 or 5 years ago, but we all go through peaks and troughs, and you rebuild. Finding some players down there at Hawthorn at the moment. Who do you reckon's a player for the future down at the Hawks? We've lost him. Yeah, that was great. As much as we couldn't see him, folks. It was a great little interview there. We might get him back on.
We'll see if he comes back.
I had so many things I'd love to talk to him about if we had more time. And if we had him in studio, we could get into depth with things. And look, we've heard all the stories about, all the people get on TV now and talk about Melbourne and Hawthorn and where they're at. You can go and jump on Fox Footy right now and get the ins and outs of of where these games that are to be played this weekend and every week are at. You don't hear that from us, but I like to ask these guys a little bit more in depth about their own careers and what it is that actually made them get to where they got to. And that's a great story because he is small.
Mm.
I know he's Mousy's dad and he's a big tough guy, and but Dog is, he's up to my chin. He's small, but my God, solid as a rock. And when the ball came his way, he made every post a winner. He's a good player.
Yeah, and I like his analogy of just be good at something. Just get good at something. Know what your point of difference is. And hey, someone was asking what's going on, and thanks for the audio too. Yeah, we went back to the old school proper mics. There's a latest update from the Tribunal. Paddy Sweeney just tweeted, Jacob Van Room comes out of contract in 2025. The same year, we're likely to get a result from the AFL Appeals Hearing Board. Not a bad
so
tweet,
what's
no?
the go there? Does he get to play if there is no result? Remember Diesel Williams went through all that extra litigation that was over and above the AFL because of his push on. Was it Coates, the umpire, back in the day?
They'll have a result.
People will know what I'm talking about.
It's the same people, though. So how is it going to be different?
Yeah, I know.
It's the same people that decided Tuesday.
Well, don't they get different people to sit? Argue the point.
That's just this is why you should be a lawyer.
Should have got the Carlton lawyers in on this one.
Yeah, I don't know who we've got, but the fact that Rioli punched someone 100 meters off the ball and gave him concussion, and he got 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm a bit confused.
We're all confused.
One is intent and the other one isn't. It's clearly because he's unreasonable.
Yeah.
We all know that now.
Yeah. It is a different panel, Nicky, and different people argue. It's a whole different thing, but there is still got to be.
Don't believe Twitter, Dave.
Yeah, don't believe Twitter. Doggy Brown, Campbell Brown, I speak of course, was one of those players. Do you remember when we played against Hawthorn back in the day, and Aaron Davey did play on Browny a lot? And Hawthorn, we always found it hard against Hawthorn. And even after my career, they'd always seem to just get us, even when they weren't great. And obviously they went through those amazing years with Mitchell and Lewis and then Buddy for a little while, and they just were unstoppable. And they were building towards that when I was playing. And I remember playing against Campbell Brown and I was about to say Jacob Van Ruin, and Richie Vandenberg. And he was the captain, appointed captain. He was one of those first appointed captains because of his leadership around the club and his attack on the ball. And he wasn't necessarily the most talented footballer. Could get the job done, but he wasn't the most talented footballer. And we used to tell him that. I used to tell him that out on the footy field. You're the worst captain in the
Clubman
AFL.
Award.
Everyone knows you're the worst captain in the AFL. Isn't that horrible?
How did he respond? He goes, "No,
he hit me.
You're not." Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good response.
Check it out. I think it was 2005. He elbowed me to the throat, and I deserved it because I was being an absolute dick.
Yeah.
But it was because he'd hit Flash Davey a little bit before. It's a great game. It was the first quarter. Nita went off that day, had a great game. We had a good game, actually. And Flash was on fire. It was at that time when Aaron Davey came in, and he was this new, fresh, frontal pressure king. Remember when that wasn't even the vernacular back then. There was no such thing, but it became this buzzword, frontal pressure. Aaron Davey invented it with his tackling. Like you could see blokes like Campbell Brown running with the ball and doing this, where's Flash? He's going to tackle me any minute if I don't get rid of it.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. Neil Danaher loved him. Thanks, Josh. How are you, mate? Love you too, bro. Neil Danaher loved him, and he got the coterie group to pay to get Aaron Davey to our club because he was at Port Adelaide before that. Saw what he could do, got him in, became this frontal pressure guru, and he got belted by Richie Vandenberg on the boundary line. Great southern stand. I can still see it happening. And we took exception to, of course, you've got to fly the flag, so I went over and maybe gave him a few shoves along with everybody else. And then I may have been a little bit cheeky with my comments as we were running away, and I don't know, it was all fired up. It was a big game. It was a night game. And I can't tell you how amazing it is to play a night game at the MCG. It's phenomenal. You run out, it's electric. You've got the Demon Army, you've got the greats. It's all full. Everyone's excited because it's a night game. I don't know what it is. Yellow pills. They seem to just fly around a lot better. I used to love the yellow footies. It's fresh. You want to do well because you know it's on TV and everybody's sitting at home having a chip and a Coke or a beer or whatever it is and watching the footy.
It's a good perspective for anyone who hasn't.
We knew those games were big.
Nighttime's always more exciting than daytime.
Well, I think North Melbourne became huge.
In life too.
In those 90s. North Melbourne became huge in those 90s games because the Friday night games that they pioneered. And it's a shame that they lost it, but they had to give it away because it just wasn't fair. Primetime TV.
It's not fair. It's not fair. They gave it away, and now Collingwood owns like all the primetime, everything. Like every time there's a blockbuster, they have it.
And if you don't, Eddie Maguire's going to whinge about it. He's doing a bit of whinging this week. In fact, he backed in the goal. James Sicily, firstly, we talked about this last week, and then he's had a few words to say about what's happening with Collingwood and the booing situation. And look, we'll leave that alone. But it's been a big week in football again. Friday night games were huge, and North Melbourne pioneered them, and we used to get up for them. We used to think, wow, awesome Friday night footy, and against Hawthorn too. And we had a rivalry against Hawthorn. Remember, guys? Remember those the game that Hawthorn won by a point, and then we won by a point. Most famous point I ever got, Davo, I think it was 1990. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Hawthorn beat us in 97, was it? By a point. Then we won in 98 by a point. So the game is drawn. It's drawn. It's not over. It's tied, is a better word. And back and forth for a while. We knew the siren was coming soon. And the ball goes into our forward line and out of bounds. And we're just trying like crazy. We're absolutely knackered. We're given everything we've got, even the Hawthorn players, to try to kill the ball. At one point, it had gone near the goalpost and someone smacked it just so that it would hit the goalpost. If it had gone out, it would have been deliberate, but it hit the point post. So, out of bounds, throw in, scrum, back out of bounds again. Throw in about 10, 15 metres around from the point post. David Schwartz, the big ox, he turned to me and he said, Robbo, on me back, jump up, spoil it through for a point back when you could go third man up. So I've gone back off the pack. I'm hoping, please, no Hawthorn player go with me because I used to do it a bit so they'd stop my run.
Yeah.
No one stopped me. No one stood in front of me. Here it is. Got the timing perfect and I belted the ball through and it went through for a point. And the crowd went mental like it was a goal. Yeah. And I can watch the vision now and you see Schwartz and I jump up because we had that plan. It's like, yes, but the siren hadn't gone yet. Like we don't know how much time's left. So and then when you see it's let's run back. And then they kicked it in and I think the siren went and we won. So that's the most famous
the best point ever.
Ever. I love all those stories. I lie in bed and think about them a lot. That's all I've got now.
That's really good. Well, we should find that because I think that's
we'll put it up next show maybe.
Yeah, I might do it for this one. Best tackle ever. Here's one for you. What's the best tackle you've seen in your career?
Well, I think it's got to be Jack Viney.
Wouldn't have been you laying a tackle.
No, I had nothing to do with that. I provided highlights in other ways. It wasn't tackling, nor was it handballs. Mine was Rekha Wheeler on Southern Stand Wing on Glen Archer when he picked him up and speared him into the turf. You remember that one? I do remember. Rekha Wheeler was another one. Do you remember Matty Whelan?
Yeah. Do you know that's one of our most popular episodes?
Matty Whelan?
Yeah.
Because he works for the club.
Oh, he goes around and promotes it himself then.
Probably. But a lot of people want to hear what's going on from the people that are within the club.
Oh, do you guys want to hear from what's going on within the club? That's a novel idea.
We're toying with the idea of getting someone on every week to give us a bit of a rap about the Demons because, tell you what, a lot of Melbourne supporters watch this. How good was Jack Watts' interview when we did Jack Watts?
So good.
If you've got time, I posted something the other day. It was a little snippet from that interview about the pressure of being number one and what it was like for him, what it was genuinely like. And we can only speculate how hard it was for Jack Watts to be that number one pick and whether he lived up to your expectations or his own or his family's. Have a listen to what he talked about it. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. You can find it. The full interview is there and it's brilliant. You were hanging on the edge of your seat with all of it.
Because I loved what he said when he said, if he played well, that was what was expected. Yes. And anything other than that, people were at him.
At him for it.
so he couldn't go another level. There was no speed booster that got him to this whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's
sad, isn't it?
It's really like
because I think
really
about
sad.
it, you had no expectation from me at all. Melbourne supporters just hoped for a goal, maybe a spectacular mark every now and then, but there was no pressure to be an amazing footballer for me. I came in at a time when Gary Lyon, David Schwartz, David Neitz, Jeff Farmer, they were on fire. Well, maybe not Gary because come towards the end of his career, but we had some great names like Jimmy Steins and Todd Viney. So there was no pressure for me. Shawnee Smith was taking the hangers. I came in as this young upstart and my timing was perfect because a lot of those guys fell over and I had to fill their shoes. But number 68 in the draft, I mean, who cares? Maybe we get something out of him, maybe we don't.
Here's a question for you. How many number 1 draft picks have actually turned out to be like worth the number 1 draft pick? I mean, it's so hard to get it right, but I can't quite, like, there's a lot in the top 10. Like in that year, I remember because it was Nat Nui being an Eagles supporter, I was like, he'd want to stay in Perth. I don't know if they did a deal, and it made sense. Like Jack Watt should go to Melbourne. He grew up here. He's from down this way, Sandy. So it made sense.
It did. It was the right decision for us at the time.
And Nat Nui hasn't played for, I don't know.
He's still playing.
He's still a mascot at the moment.
Believe it. Just to go back to you, Joshy Carlisle, about Matty Whelan. Yes, he did have a rugby background. You could tell the way he tackled. He hit people and they stayed hit. He was unbelievable. That's what he was great at. That was his one thing. He was good at something, became great at it. I was good at marking. My dad made, and I worked on it until I became great at taking hangers.
That's a nice comment from Pam.
Jack's an absolute ripper. I went to the MSC Coda today. Pull that one up for everybody to see, Davo. As a volunteer, I'd never met him, but he ran up to me and gave me the biggest hug and asked how I was going, made my day. And it's true. He is a kid like that. He's just he said in his interview, I'm a people pleaser. I'm just a big, happy person and I don't like confrontation. And he doesn't. Love Jack Watts.
Which is tough for an AFL player then. Because if you're that type of person, you don't have that Campbell Brown about you.
We don't know what. When we're 18-year-old kids coming over to play football in the big city and we don't know what we're doing. We're just doing what we've done since we were kids, playing football. I watched my son today play for St. Beats. He has no idea what he's doing out there. He's just running around playing football. It's a game. Then all of a sudden you give him this responsibility to be great and do it all the time to appease all the supporters. We don't know anything about that. In time we get it. In time we understand it.
Yeah, hitting on something that's so important. Supporters just don't get it. They don't get that the footballers are people. And the people that go to games and go like, you're shit, what? Yeah. And you just go, you look at the people in the stand and you go like, mate, it looks like you've never gone for a run in your life. Yeah. How are you with the pie in your hand? Like, these guys are giving it a go. They've got feelings. Yeah, you can cheer on your team, but like...
It was hard. And honestly, that's part of it. And we obviously get paid to do this job. And it's something that you learn in time. But early days, I remember, you cop abuse for not performing well. And you're like, what? I've never had that before. I've only ever had the pressure of myself. Now I've got someone telling me that you're a shit house, you know.
Off the ground too?
Off the ground. I used to get letters written to me and I'd read them, and that's before social media. So I was kind of lucky in that regard. But if I was at a club with the boys later on, I'd have people come up and tell me what they thought of Melbourne, what they thought of my game and what I should do. And you just sort of... You know, I'm just playing a game here and I'm hoping that it adds to the team. And if it doesn't add, then I'm out, you know. And we're hoping for a career because we love football. And Jack Watts' interview is brilliant.
Yep.
And I think it's understated. I think until you actually listen to someone in that position talk, do you actually learn what it's like for the human condition, you know what I mean? Like, and have a little bit of sympathy because we all love this colour. And anyone that pulls on the jumper, we want them to do well. Even if they're number one draft pick, of course. You know, we want them to be brilliant and save us. And Melbourne's history since 1964, and it's only recently been fixed. You know, help us, save us, Jack Watts. And he copped that. I copped none of that. So I was kind of lucky that I could just go out there and jump around.
Which is why he said he was happy to go to Port Adelaide.
Yeah, what was it? Pick number 36. It didn't really matter what he did anymore. So... Of course, we wanted Jack to be phenomenal. We want anyone to be phenomenal. We wanted David Schwartz to be phenomenal. did 3 knees. He was going to be the greatest player of all time, but he wasn't. So Melbourne is in a better place now. We're playing the Hawthorn Football Club this Saturday. Is it Saturday?
Saturday afternoon, 4:35.
And I think, of course, if we play the way we've been playing, we'll get there. We can play better. We know that. Ins and outs, you can read them yourselves. I don't need to go into all that sort of stuff on this show. We're more about the
ins for...
There's a few for Hawthorn.
There's a lot for Hawthorn. Charlie Spargo in, Hibbard in, out, Turner, Harms, and James Jordan. That's interesting. 3 out and 2 in.
Yep.
Someone... Oh, because we've got a suspension?
Tell you what, there's 2 players that I'm really enjoying watching at the moment. Is Clayton Oliver and Christian Petrarca. Now, I know there's a lot said about these guys. And they're in the media a lot, and especially with who he is doing some of Christian Petrarca's recipes from his work on social media at the moment. Tell you what, that man will be raking in the dollars with all his extra stuff that he's doing at the moment, and I know he'd be making some money because he doesn't do anything unless it's... But my God, he's playing some football at the moment, and it's, you know, without being over the top brilliant, where you sort of go, well, you know, they speaking a lot about Marcus Bontempelli this week. Is he the greatest bulldog of all time? Some of the football that he's playing, it's not in those tones. It's not playing the most amazing game of all time, but he's 2-3 goals, 35 plus possessions, and then you've got that contested beast. I love Clary. I love the way he looks at the moment. Love the way he's going at it at the moment.
Did you say you love the way he looks?
He's got this awful haircut, and I love it. It's great. It's like, it's the modern look, I know. And I can't talk, you know, look at my hair. But, bang, he's going out there and just smashing contested football. And I think the stat at the moment is he's almost doubling everybody in terms of how many games he's played in the games with 6 or more contested or something clearances. Doubling
it's
anybody
pretty
else
good.
that's ever done it in the history of the game.
They're in a good spot, aren't they? Like,
Clary Oliver could go down as the greatest Melbourne player of all time. That's a huge call. Will he be in the hearts like Robbie Flower? Will he be a sentimental favourite like Ron Barassi, who wasn't naturally the greatest footballer, but he was the heart of Melbourne, went in like crazy, created a position, went on to win all those premierships as coach, and he was the quintessential warrior on the hill, let's go. But there was more talented players, and by his own admission in those teams back in the day, Stewie Spencer was one of those. Clary Oliver is a bit like Ron Barassi. He's not like Petrarca in terms of his finishing skills, but my God, he's won 4 best and fairest already. You serious? How young is he? 24? Something like that, 25?
premiership this year would definitely help.
Yeah, and look, I think we rate our players by how many premierships they win these days, don't we?
Well, they become like, it becomes, like we were talking about Hawthorn. The reason why we talk about Hawthorn, and because they won a lot of premierships.
Yeah.
And when you're part of a premiership team,
superstars,
you become like, well, they're the benchmark.
But it was hard because then they're up against that era before with Tark and Dipper and Platten. We had an era back in the 50s, so I feel like that's an era before time.
Before your time.
No, well, it's before our time, but the people that have an opinion on that are probably a bit too old now to influence what's going on. So it's kind of like a prehistoric time. And that's the way it is. My time's going to fast be prehistoric. But Clayton Oliver, for mine, will go close to being one of the greatest players for the Melbourne Football Club ever. And you look at a team of the century, the next team of the century for the Melbourne Football Club, he'd be in there already.
Yes.
Already. Max Gawn, already. Petrarca, yep, I'd go with that. One of my favourite players plays his 150th game this week, is it? Or 200th? Stephen May. Stephen May is one of my favourite players. I love him. He's not perfect.
He's very, very good.
But he's very good. You've got to admit, don't you?
He's very good.
Like the West Coast Eagles have had some great defenders over their journey.
Yeah.
And still got some now.
He's a Glenn Jakovic for sure.
Yep. He rarely gets beaten 200. Thanks, Josh. He rarely gets beaten. And if he does get beaten, it's probably because of a breakdown in the process of what they're used to.
Yeah.
Something's gone awry up the field, or Jakey Lever's not there for something or other or whatever. And you can tell when it's broken
not
down,
happy.
he's not happy. He looks around. The hell's going on? End of the game a couple of weeks ago.
That's right. I was going to mention that one. The 100 point, nearly 100 points they're winning by.
Yeah. A couple of junk time goals. Not happy. Love him. What's going on this week? Have we got anything else before we sign off? And
No, I think it's all
Grab
quiet
ourselves
on the
another
Western
whiskey.
Front. Like we're just really just sitting around waiting for the tribunal. And we could sit here all night and wait for the tribunal to go through and maybe just order in some food,
Yep.
finish off the bottle of whiskey, and they still wouldn't have made a decision out there.
No.
And I'm just reading Twitter. There's still nothing happening.
do me a
Has
favour.
anyone got any news? I haven't got any news.
Get these guys. Do me a favour. Jump on and listen to some of the shows that we've done, some of the podcasts, and put some people onto it because there's some really good stories. I'm going to be posting more and more shorts to social media.
Chock Baileys, Louise. Oh, Claire. Cats versus Richmond.
Is that on now?
She's a Geelong supporter.
That's okay.
It's not. It's Thursday night. There's no footy tonight.
No footy tonight. We could talk about
Any
who's going to
gigs?
win the
Should
other
we get
games.
Robbo to play a song? I reckon we should get him in a song. There's a guitar right there.
No, not right now. But
Why?
Well, I haven't played a gig in a long time.
Razor Ray was a great interview. I so agree. Imagine if we could get Razor. Oh, we need like an ex-AFL umpire or someone from the tribunal to tell us what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
What is going? He'll get off. I reckon he'll get off. I reckon the AFL.
I don't know, mate. It's been a
If you
bizarre
want to do
week.
conspiracy theories and go, you know what would be really good is if we got heaps of PR out of what was happening.
Yeah.
And like if you were trying to do that and go, well, what's the promotion we could do? Like they've done it really well, and then they let him off Thursday night, which is shocking. And if it ever came out that this was true, I don't think it is true. But if you're a conspiracy theorist, it would be a nice publicity stunt to
All of this.
to do all of this
Well, they've certainly got the result they wanted. If that's the key, if
and
that's the
headline
case.
news everywhere. They should have just picked a club though that they should have picked people that don't really care like GWS or Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Or that would have been better. Get Razorback, I reckon. Let's get Razorback. He was
moves around the corner here. We'll get Razorback. He'd love it.
he'd be good. We'll get Robbo to play a song. What else do we need, people? We're brainstorming ways and means of making it better. But definitely go back. We're going to get promoting all those old episodes we did.
We're going to go to a pub, a local pub. These
Yes,
people
that's
want us to get out and about, and that's what we will do.
Yeah.
And there's been some suggestions already. We've got
Yes,
them
we are heading to a
noted.
pub.
We've noted them, and we will let you know a live situation. And of course, we're going to make sure that there's people from the Melbourne Football Club there, and we'll have some fun around it. We'll do some music
Have
around
some
it.
music.
Yeah.
We'll have some music. We'll have drinks. I don't know.
Yep. Do we boo Powell next time? Yeah, we do. I'm not.
Oh, the beanies are out too.
Oh yes.
MND beanies. I was
Yes.
going to have a photo, but you know what they look like.
Saw some
The new
promotion
ones.
around that this
A
week.
duet. Maybe Claire.
We'll do a duet. We'll set it all up. We're not just going to do it over. We're going to make sure it sounds good. I'm just going to grab a guitar and play. You've got to
You're not.
work your magic. Get it through.
Doesn't this sound good anyway?
I don't know. A little bit of vibe in the room. A bit of reverb.
Do you need to like? Oh God.
You want
It's
that?
so dramatic.
Which pub should we go to?
Last time I was in a
Keep
pub
drums.
with Melbourne footballers, it ended badly, Jackie.
Jackie, do tell.
I wish we could just pull her in and go like,
Sounds
okay,
like a story.
this is good. We got a scoop from Jackie.
Can you DM your number to us and we'll get you on the show and you can talk about that right now.
We can definitely
Can
do
you work
karaoke.
that magic?
Yeah, I could send her a link. She wants to jump in.
Don't send your number so that everybody can see. Just
Yeah,
direct,
imagine that.
direct
You can all join. You can all join. Join whenever you want. Yeah,
Hoppers Crossing, Shane. Yes.
Pub.
Anywhere. Just please tell us a good pub and then go and talk to the pub and tell them that we're coming.
yeah. Can someone? Because otherwise, I've got to go find something, or you've got to find something, and it's like that takes time. The Notting Hill Hotel. Didn't you play there?
The Knot. It's great. I'd love to play the Knot again. And I will soon, but we should go to the Knot. It's great.
Yeah.
Great pub. That's a
Is
good
that
one.
where I went and saw you play?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was
His
good.
40th. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a long time, Jackie. A long time ago. This story just gets better. I want to know this story.
I know.
Can you give names?
Does that mean he was there?
Can you give
Jackie,
names?
Can you keep going? We're like we've got nothing else to do now. I've got whiskey.
Who were the players that were involved? Oh my God! Don't start, Jackie. Sugar Shack, Ivy nightclub. When the Melbourne guys rocked up too, I remember the Ivy back in the city. After the best and fairest nights, we'd go to the Ivy. Oh, that was really early days of my career. It was pre-Robbo.
Pre-Robbo.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
What a relief. That's a good one. We should do one in the snowfields. Go where the D supporters are.
Oh, we could organise something. Santa Fe, yeah. The Tunnel nightclub with Phoebe. Louise Hughes, were you under the stairwell with one of the Phoebe twins back in the day at the Tunnel nightclub?
Jeez, we've
Where
hit
is this show
new
gone?
highs, haven't we? We are really like...
Stanford Roval, Mulgrave Country Club, or yes, the Knot, all pretty close. Yeah, I think the Knot is one that we should work on, David. Yeah, probably with Rocket Roddo and Jacko.
You guys are unbelievable. This is awesome. We're keeping it intimate, that's for sure.
Yeah. I remember when I first got to Melbourne, and a lot of the people on the show would remember, we used to go to the Arizona bar, which was in Russell Street. It's not there anymore. Something else there now. We'd go to the depot. I think that was maybe the depot was I want to say a Saturday night, and then if you didn't do very well, you'd go to the Tunnel at the end. If you were trying to find someone to talk to.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so you could, if you 2 nights, you could go out. If it was a Friday game, you could go, when was training? Monday?
So we would have a recovery session after every game, of course. But here's a story. I remember I went out with a young fella named by the name of Mark Winterton. He got drafted with us, great fella. We used to go out on a Wednesday night before a Saturday game when I was on the rookie list playing in the reserves to the pub, where was it called? The Hallam Pub. I know all of you have been to the Hallam Pub because the Hallam Pub is a great venue for music. Great band venue. All the great bands used to play out there, all the great Aussie people. But there would always be a band, a live band playing, just a bunch of blokes. And we'd get in for free, get a drink card, have a couple of drinks, go home, play football on Saturday. It's ridiculous.
It's a bit different now, isn't it?
It's so different now. I mean, the next year, this is 1997, so we didn't do that the year after. And I remember I got to the Hallam Pub one night, and I didn't have my ID, and they wouldn't let me in. So I had to go and sleep in the car while the boys went in.
God.
The worst. Freezing cold night. So I'm just sleeping in the car until I got a knock on the window from one of the boys and said, "Get out of the car. I need to use it." That's the truth.
So where'd you go then? Sleep at the bus stop?
No, I just went for a walk. Hating life. They were the days.
I'm going to pick it up for a bit before we get the hell out of here. Wazza reckons we should do S Bar and Lounge. I reckon we can walk there in Black Rock. That'd be good.
To the defence of, that's probably why we finished last in 97, to the defence of all the guys that were in the seniors team, this was just a bunch of guys that were 17, 18 years of age doing their own thing. We were in the reserves. And I think we won a few games that year, so we were doing all right. We were not playing senior football. And it wasn't the done thing. It wasn't like that's what everybody did, but it certainly was a little bit looser back in the day. Like after a big loss.
I'm not going to let that comment go past.
What was that?
Look at Louise's comment.
There was one retired player now that paid me to keep quiet at the Tunnel nightclub. Oh, Louise.
Scandal.
I smell a scandal. Let's get Louise. I know Louise.
Do you?
We'll get you on, Louise.
You really do?
I think we'll leave it alone.
Still deliberating. Close to an hour and a half now.
So is Jacob Van Ruin there? Surely he's not there.
It's an hour and a half.
He's not there. They'd be doing it without him. He'll give you his evidence.
I like how, like, you know, when they deliberate on like proper TV shows and they're doing like the whole like, and we're going to cross now down to blah, blah, blah. And it's all really serious. And it's like, yeah, we're waiting on the verdict now. And you and I are just like, so when we're at the tunnel night, right? I was sleeping in the car and one of the guys knocked on the door and it's this show is properly serious.
We're
stuff.
trying to be legitimate.
This is legit. Too legit to quit. Too legit to go get
No, but
food.
this is a Melbourne show, right? And this
Okay.
is Melbourne through the year. Do you know, I believe Melbourne was sponsored by a place, an establishment of ill repute.
A
Is that the
brothel.
word? A brothel. I believe we were sponsored by a brothel a while back.
Yeah?
I think it was called Top of the Town. I'm not sure.
I'm
think so.
Googling it.
I think so. Can anyone back that up? It seems bizarre and crazy, but I believe there may have been a partnership there
There
somewhere.
still is a top of the town.
Is there?
It's only got 3.5 stars.
God. Doesn't sound like a Melbourne
Do people
establishment.
actually review? They'd have to review with their names.
No, they go with the faux name.
They'd have
Do
to.
anything online these days. They bought up Nick in and the hyphen Nolan. They brought up a case from 1909 as part of their evidence in the trial at the moment. This is bigger.
1909.
This is bigger than the OJ trial. I mean, this is
They brought up
Pelican brief.
1909
This is like
as a precedent.
yeah. This
What
is,
the hell?
This is Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise going at it in the in A Few Good Men. Oh, this is, I don't know. Has there been a bigger case in a long time? This is huge.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Poor kid. He's 21. Is he 20, 21?
Oh, he's probably that young. He goes, I get paid to sit around for a couple of weeks. And everyone's like,
He'd want to play.
oh, for sure.
And we want him to play too because he's starting to get some...
Fox Sports, Jacob Van updates, video highlights. Oh, I can pull that up, I guess.
Can we pull that up? Nick Naduzzo's working hard for us there.
She's doing
talking
all right.
about the 1909
Oh,
evidence.
I can't. What are we going to do? Fox Sports. I'll go there.
You can do it. Look at us go. This is just gripping stuff here.
1909 legal case cited. This is ridiculous.
What was the argument?
Except Van Rooyen was attempting to spoil when he crashed into the Suns defender.
Yes, we
The
know
reasonable thing. We got all that. Simon Goodwin. We didn't play that video, but I know he's basically saying what we all already know.
Yep.
It's sort of breaking news, but here we go. So it's the Melbourne QC who's done this.
Is it QC or KC?
Oh, KC. What does that mean? King's Council. Sorry, can't keep up with the times,
Come on,
Dave.
mate, you
Well, I
watched
didn't
the
know. I
coronation.
watched it the next morning. I was a little bit hungover. Will Horton, KC, representing the Demons, made a lengthy early statement to try and permit the club to argue against the directions by Gleeson during the initial tribunal. He even cited a legal case from 1909 as part of his argument the club should be able to bring new evidence into the hearing. We submit to the tribunal was wrong in law because it sought to limit the true operation of the rule, blah, blah, blah. The rule is there to protect a player. Van Rooyen was found to be an honest player who told an honest story about an incident which he achieved the objective every player should be able to achieve. Spoiler mark.
That's right.
Oh, this is just ridiculous. Yeah. Is this not ridiculous?
I'm just responding to Dogger Brown. Campbell Brown says his phone died.
Oh, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
Still deliberating. Appeal board continues. Still deliberating. These are all just comments. Like...
Kodiak, I don't know. I think he will. I think he'll get off. I'm positive about this. It's gone this far. Yeah. Woods from the AFL is rambling on about duty of care. Louise says, look, we could talk a long time about this. I think we'll wind it up now.
Yeah, I don't think...
It's been a good show. I know
hungry.
We didn't have enough of Campbell Brown to talk about some of his old exploits. And we do love his
I
stories.
just love that he got on and his phone went flat. And he was running around a boat. It almost summed up what we were expecting, or what I was expecting anyway.
I texted him all day long, make sure you're in a well-lit room was one of the things I wrote.
Yeah.
And he gave me the thumbs up. Yep, I'll make sure I'm in a well-lit room.
Yeah.
He was on a boat in complete darkness. So Campbell Brown. I love it. He's a good guy. He really is. Love Cam. He's Dogger Brown. He's great.
Good on him.
Caught up with two of my old teammates today for a coffee. The other Doggy Brown, Nathan Brown of Melbourne fame, and Daniel Ward. A couple of absolute good eggs there. A couple of my best mates. Good to see them. Campbell Brown's our guest at our footy club next week. That's brilliant.
Oh, I hope he judges.
He does get around. He does get around. And he's got a few good tips too. So if you want to lay some bets, gamble responsibly, he's right up with that. That's been a good show. I've really enjoyed it. Let's just hope that Jacob Free Van Ruin. There is by the way, there is a Change.org petition, which is very Melbourne. Yeah, there's no nothing about.
Don't go stand out at the AFL throwing bricks through windows. Let's go and pull a Wikipedia Change.org.
We'll throw red wine through windows, or we'll throw old avocados through the window, like that one over there that's as hard as a rock.
We still have it. Everyone comes in and picks it up and shakes it and goes like, it could be a shaker soon because it's.
For those that don't know, we had an avocado.
Can't get rid of it.
For the very first show, 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Can I get it?
Yeah, you get it. I'll tell a story while you get it. So we had this avocado because we were talking about Melbourne platters for everyone that saw this. And Melbourne kept winning in the finals. And so then we were like, it's the lucky avocado and we can't get rid of it. And then the avocado has been in the cupboard last year and Melbourne didn't win. And so we were like, oh, maybe we need to get the show back on and get the avocado back out again. So the avocado is back out. Melbourne's winning again. This is the year. I would place bets, gamble responsibly. But if this avocado survives, remember when you were going to eat it?
Yeah, thank God. I might have.
We needed 200 people for you to eat it.
Listen.
Can't eat it now.
Oh, that's the pip on the inside. I'd love to open it up.
Can't open it up.
We should get this signed by Max Gawn, captain of the winning premiership captain.
The winning avocado. It needs to go into a museum in airtight and retained because
it's my avocado.
It's like the ashes.
Yep. This
is the ashes. Urn. This is the urn. It's the avocado. It's Melbourne's version of the ashes, and we should play for the avocado. There should be a series, and it will be against the Western Bulldogs. That's what the round should be, and it should be the Avocado Cup.
I'm going to bring this to the next game. When I'm out in the ground, I'm going to show you all the avocado.
You better not lose it. You jinx this shit. You can't just take it.
Jenny Love makes a good point. Let's get an AFLW player on.
Yeah, great idea.
We'd spoken about this. Obviously, I'm getting guests from... My buttons keep popping on.
The Robbo shirt.
I've been hitting the gym a bit lately. And it's...
There we are.
Yeah, where's the Robbo shirt you said you were going to buy?
I do have to get it.
Come on,
this
man.
one?
Robbo! I cannot buy that. I don't like that one. There's another one that's not that one. Get rid of that.
Is that the shirt?
That's the one you mocked up, you smart ass.
Oh, right. Okay, no, I'll get the other shirt and we'll give it to someone.
I can't buy my own shirt. I can't log on. Russell Robertson is buying his own.
Name. You go to the checkout and it goes name and you go Russell Robinson and it goes and they go, but the person fulfilling the order would be like, no one has ever ordered this shirt. And I think the guy whose shirt it is ordered it for himself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to put your name and get it delivered here.
Don't you
and
dare.
I'm going to screenshot it and I'm going to put it on the show.
Robbo
and
loves
then
himself.
I'll give it away. I'm doing it. I'm doing this right now.
Right now?
Right now.
No.
Why wait? Why wait for this shit? Life's so short. Van Ruin's thing goes too long. We crap on too much. I need a Robbo shirt. Yeah, Jackie, I'm doing a screenshot. Don't worry about it.
We've been padding for so long, hoping that this would...
what do I search for?
Breaking news that Jacob Van Ruin has got off. But
is that what we were doing?
It's not going to happen, so I feel like...
Russell Robinson's shirt. That's not easy to come across.
Stop it.
Has anyone got the link for the Russell Robinson shirt? It's just... Did it say Robbo? Robbo.
Yeah. Jenny would like to see Daisy Pearce. I agree with that. I'd love to get her on, but I feel like she's a bit too big time for me. At this, there's a few that live in this area. I would love to get on the show, talk about that AFLW Premiership, because what a year, what a couple of years we had. We had an AFL Men's Premiership, AFLW Premiership, then a VFL Premiership.
Bootleg. That's who I've got to find. All right, bootleg Robbo. That's what it's called, isn't it? Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Someone made it. I love them for doing it, but we need to do a giveaway on this show for sure.
$46.50.
It's cheap.
All right, what size are we ordering, people? Are we getting I should get a large, I guess. Medium, get a large.
Get a large.
Sign me up. I'm not signing me up. All right.
It's happening.
Watch this. Share screen. Okay, guys. I know
You're a smart ass.
We're like...
Extra large, Jackie says.
Here we go. You guys, can you see this?
No, because you've got to click it across.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Get with the program.
I'm telling you how to do your job.
All right, here we go. Just so you know, I'm actually doing it.
Buy two. Get two.
Add a note to your order.
This is for
I
Robbo.
love Robbo, but this one is for him. Okay, we're going to... I don't want to continue. I just want to check out. How do I check out without...
Showing your deets.
Yeah. Is it going to show it? No, it won't. Or is it going to...
I think
This will get awkward really quickly.
Stop sharing it now. Get rid of it.
All right, click to continue. There we go. Can't believe I've got to pay $46 for this.
It's cheap. This is an icon of football. Should we sign off now? I think we should get
$11
shipping.
for shipping. Ship to. Okay. Hang on, I just got to make sure. No, you can't. Okay, just so you know, everyone.
Oh my God.
This is what it's come to. We have to wait this long. Don't look at all this stuff. But just so you know, I'm going to go shipping address. Russell Robertson.
You bastard.
Company. Robbo Enterprises.
No. Robbo
Wait,
Live.
I got to show it. Here we go. See? I'm
there.
genuinely doing it.
It's happening.
All right.
If you get this, I'll wear it on every show from now on.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah.
You'll wear your own shirt.
I'll look so
Daddy,
stupid.
I, as a friend,
Don't do it.
don't do it. I'll wear it. That's funny. But yeah, GoFundMe. We could have all why am I paying?
Yeah,
I got
go
to
fund
do all
me.
this stuff. We don't need to go
buy
fund me.
some great.
Someone's
football
getting $57.50 for this T-shirt. I cannot believe it.
You're doing it. I never said anything. All right, I'm going to sign us off now that you've done that. Thank you for joining us on the show this week. I love that they've had a consistent number of people watching the whole show. I can see the numbers and no one's left. That's great. That's brilliant.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you, Russell, for your order.
It says thank you, Russell. One bootleg Robbo large.
We're gonna pour a couple of whiskeys here and get the guitars out and have a bit of a jam.
Yeah, we're gonna do
some dinner. I'm sure Fiona out the back there's made.
I released the single too, by the way.
You did, and you're going to put that on the Robbo Live page if you haven't already. People, this guy is a talented musician. Check it out. So we're going to just chill in this wonderful room now and look forward to
for the Van Ruin.
Yeah,
decision.
we're going to have a bit of a, what do they call it? A vigil. We're going to have a sit in here in a vigil, watching the screens, waiting for the result.
We will play some music. I'll
since,
get him to do it. I'm happy to do it, but he has so precious.
Not
he wants
since
reverb and
O.J. Simpson have we seen anything like this.
this is like, and what will happen is they'll see. Here we go. Come on.
No, because it's all out of whack. It'll sound weird. Oh, it's out of tune.
Oh my God.
That's been the Robbo Show. Stay tuned over the next few weeks. We will play some live music if Dave-O can set something up in here. And we both love Pearl Jam, so we'll probably do a jam song, yeah? Something like that.
Why not?
All right. Go D's. Beat the Hawks.
Everyone. Have a great week.
See you at the G's soon.
Go D's and the Eagles.